That's not there in Buddhism. So all the Buddhist traditions, because we are free of that dogma, we're free of the sort of the God principle or some ultimate being which is telling you what to do, it gives that common sense of freedom to express itself. And when those of you will go and see His Holiness the Dalai Lama next week, you say, wow, this is down to earth, this makes sense. And just the same as you hear from the monks or the nuns here or from any other teachers of the Buddhist tradition, this makes sense. Why doesn't other people teach this? It's because Buddhism, all the Buddhist traditions, have this common characteristic of being free from those things which obstruct this obvious common sense. And that's true for all our Buddhist traditions. And so that way we have a virtue which actually does make sense, which people can relate to, which they know is true. A good example is Buddhism and sex, sex. With, say, homosexuality or contraception. And these are some things which people know in their heart, what's wrong with this? And you know in your heart when you ask that question, there's nothing wrong with this at all. It's your feelings, your understanding of what virtue is, which is the natural ability of the human being to know what's good and know what's right. Buddhism frees that natural ability to express itself. So instead of believing, somebody else says this is wrong, but it feels right to me, but they said it's wrong, I better not do it. Instead of being confused, those obstacles are taken away so that even the natural understanding of virtue is there for you. Because one of the other standard things about Buddhism is something, I mentioned this in the radio interview this morning, because about some months ago, I did write an article to the West Australia complaining about the Dalai Lama, or a quote of the Dalai Lama, which said that homosexuals cannot be Buddhists. And I said, that's nothing to do with Buddhism. But that was brought up again in the newspapers. And one of the things which I mentioned is that we don't have a pope in Buddhism. And this goes back to a statement made by the historical Buddha just before he passed away. When people say, you're about to pass away, who's going to take over leadership from you? Who's going to lead Buddhism? And he made this powerful statement that when I pass away, there will be no personal leader for you. Let the teachings, let the training, let that be your teacher from now on.